The Minimalist training card system is so easy. I made this system for the essentialist, somebody who wants the nuts and bolts, super quick, to the point, and easy to use for $49. Let's walk through it. Your main menu has the ability to put your organization name and your logo to give yourself some personalized feel whenever you print your training cards. Also on the main menu, you'll have an ability to always reference any tutorials and any resources that I have on my website. Now let's look at our player database. Inside the player database is going to hold all of our athletes' information, any information you want, the training group on how you like to group them, and then all of their training maxes and training max derivatives that's very similar to strength sheets. The difference here is how you group your athletes for their groups. Whatever you list your athletes' groupings are, and they can be any name you want, they will auto group into the grouping system, which we'll look out here in a minute. You'll be able to pull from to whatever program you write. You can select what group you need to run that program, and it will select the training maxes appropriate for every athlete that is in that group. The functionality of being able to select exercises for primary training maxes and manual input training maxes, and then derivatives off of those manual training maxes, are just like in strength sheets. If you're not familiar, look at the tutorials and you can get yourself familiar with how you enter training maxes and creating derivatives. The next tab is the exercise index. This is where your names of your exercises are going to be listed inside of your system. In order for us to keep everything the same, you put your language inside of the system, and whenever you select exercises with our drop-down menus, there is no room for error to accidentally typo or misspelling something that's going to throw off the lookups to get the right numbers for your athletes. So we use drop downs instead of relying on us to type in exercises. In this system, we make grouping very simple. Whenever you're in your player database and you select which group your athlete is going to be part of, this is where you're going to see it. It is going to automatically populate and give you some information to allow you to know what groups you have available to train. Here on the left is our left to assign print groups. If you have an athlete in your system that you have not assigned, for example, if I take this athlete, Tate Banks, and remove his training group, I come to the group, he's going to be listed here as has not been assigned a group. Come back here, undo that, it will be gone. Here in the green is going to tell you all the players that have been grouped and assigned over here. It's going to tell you all of the athletes that have been grouped and then selected as a group here. Under the training groups here, these are the training groups you have listed under your player database, and then highlighted are the ones that have been selected into your groups. You have 8 different groups to have here and 15 slots. So here, if I select, I've still got a Devo group and a JV group. Once I select it, it lets me know the athletes that are on that they're in that grouping under our player database automatically populate and add to the players grouping. And now it shows that I have somebody assigned to a Devo group, but I have not selected them on our grouping, which is what our cards are going to pull from. So I need to make sure that I select that as well. And boom, I've got all the training groups I have created inside my player database now assigned and can be pulled from in the groupings. The key to this is that there's only 15 slots. In the Essentialist training card, you can print 15 cards at a time. And that is going to keep performance high and keep everything from slowing down. Notice here that I've got 2 athletes assigned to this hoops group, but their 2 athletes are in red, meaning that if I try to go print hoops right now, it's only going to print through the 15th athlete. All that means is that I need to create a separate training group for this group. If I want them all to be together, all I have to do is go create another group and name it something different and then assign it. Let me show you how. I go into my player database and notice Whetstone and Wilson. They want to be on the same one, but just because of this training card, I'm going to put Hoops 2. Same thing, come to groups, notice they're no longer there. I've got a Hoops 2 here. I can create this group, select it there, boom. Okay, now they're on there. And then whenever I go to print, I select Hoops, I press print. I select Hoops 2, I press print again. I've got all the athletes that I want if they exceed 15 slots. Let's say you wanted to make a one-off grouping and still wanted to create a program for somebody. Over here, you've got 2 custom groups. You can name them anything you want. Say like you wanted an arm farm group, wanted to come in and train, and your drop-down menus are all your athletes inside of your player index. Let's say I want this guy, and this athlete. Okay, I've got that there. I can now pull from that and delete that anytime I want in case I wanted to throw together a custom group that will still auto-populate based off your programming. This is the training card layout used in the Minimalist training card system. On this layout, this is going to be the template that you use and make a copy before you start programming. If you have a template, the template is laid out here. We want to keep an empty copy in order to always reference it when we create a new program. So I'm going to right click, hit duplicate. It's going to create me a copy. I'm going to right click the template and hide it. And it's going to go here in this hamburger. If I go here, it's going to be grayed out so we can just keep that tucked away in whenever we need it. Inside of this, think of this tab as a program, okay? And you can write whatever 3-week program you want, and then you can select the group that you're going to run it for. That's why you have those groups. Whenever you program on this sheet, I want you to look at it this way. You're going to program directly on the first athlete of the group's training card, and then all of the other athletes that come after it, it will auto-populate and auto-copy. Since it's one program, it will look up all of the essential needs for this athlete's training maxes, but will auto-populate the sets and reps, velocity, tempo, or anything that you program right here on the sheet. Whenever you get to this sheet, both your logo and your organization name will auto-populate and copy over from your main menu. The names of your athletes will auto-populate in alphabetical order based off the group that you choose here. This is where you start. Whatever groups have been selected and assigned inside your group tab is going to be available here. And the names will auto-populate based off what is listed under there. And it will copy and paste it all the way down. These 2 slots here are simply informational things that you can choose whatever the name you want and whatever information you feel like would be important there, such as phase, type of program, anything on there that would help you organize what this program is. Whatever you put in these boxes, going down from here will auto-populate, as you notice in the cell, what is up at the top. You do not have to do it over and over. You only have to do it once. So when you come into the template, you select your group, you put in any information you need. The next thing you're going to do is start building your program. Notice here we've got drop-down menus with all of our exercises, and those are automatically going to find our training maxes that we have for all our athletes, which are here. Okay, notice this. If you click into a cell and it has a formula, don't erase it, or it will no longer work. Okay, that is as simple as it goes. So here you've got the exercise listed here, and then you can put coach notes here to give any coaching cues or any equipment setup that you might need to have. Anything with a drop down, you'll select. You can even look up exercises and search it as you start typing, and then you need to select it in order for it to properly look up the training max. This training card has 8 exercises and supersets for 4 different tiers. Now, after you select your exercise, going into the actual sets and reps of that specific workout, this is how it goes. And you get 2 rows to select sets and reps. You get 1 row for a build-up set, and then a 2nd row for your working sets, mostly built for flat sets. That's why it's an essentialist and a minimalist training card. If you only have working sets, especially for your accessories, such as 4x5, you just leave it as such. But oftentimes, you may want to use a 1x5, a 1 set of 5 for a warm-up set, and then 4 sets of 5 for our working sets. It would look that way. Let's say we've got back squat on the menu. Let's say we're saying use squat wedge as an equipment setup. And then here we're going to start setting percentages. Let's say our first set's at 50%, and then our second set and our working sets from there are going to be at 70%. We'll auto-populate there. And notice that column is in gray. All that is telling you is that you don't have to touch that. That is going to automatically be put in there. Everything to the right here is going to be the percentage of training max. This is just text boxes for velocity. So if you wanted to put in, if you use velocity, you can do that, or any text you want in that small cell. Tempo, if you want a certain speed that you want your athletes lifting at, it's there. And this coach box is going to really come in handy for when when you print and have a place for an athlete to either write their top set or have a coach be able to write in suggested loads from week to week to ensure progressive overload. It's easy to be able to throw these training cards out, have the athlete write down their top set, coach looks at it, and then puts in the suggested load for the next week, even if the percentages say something else. And you would just copy that same process going all the way down, okay, on this card all the way for 4 workouts. Once you get done with all 4 workouts, it will automatically populate down for every athlete. Notice this athlete's got the same exact information I have on top, except his training max at 260 is a little bit heavier than this athlete's at 225, and the numbers show that. Once you're done with your programming, you can right-click on this and rename your program and save that tab. And notice that the program stays the same no matter what group you use. It's only going to change the numbers in the weight column based off of training maxes. These templates or these tabs that you have are program-specific, not group-specific. Whenever you're ready to print, you press Command-P on a Mac or Control-P, and it should come out as 15 total pages and be page break perfectly all the way down. Now, if it doesn't, and it happens to not, it looks all wonky, something like this, where it shows 50 pages, you need to enable your custom page breaks. Let me show you how. You're going to enable your page breaks and press Edit, and you're going to look at these 2 lines. You've got, first and foremost, you've got a vertical line running. Oftentimes it will look like this. It needs to be pushed all the way to the right and out of the way. Even if it keeps resetting itself, keep pushing it. The horizontal line is the most important one. Now, sometimes it will set on this line right here, which is the bottom of the top training card. That is not where we want to put it. We want to put it right in between the 2 training cards where it's blank to keep a nice, crisp page break. Scroll down and make sure they're all in the right space. You only have to do this once, and once you confirm your page breaks and print for once, you can go from there. Usually if you see 15 pages, give it a quick once over. Once it's set, you're good to go. Now, if you didn't want to print out all 15 pages, you still have a print preview menu here that you can go to custom, and you can select I only want pages 1 through 8 because you may only have 8 people in that group, and it would only go 1 through 8. If you want all of them, you go there, or if you want a specific one, you can label that inside that print dialog and then press print. This is the Minimalist training card system, and I hope you guys enjoy. And we use this training card every single day inside our system here at our high school, and we hope that you see some value from it.